ladies and gentlemen. We are here in New York, a new setting. We got a guitar here. We got some trophies from old Kevin Woody. Regardless, that human ability, that natural feeling that we all kind of have, was sort of displayed in Jacob Allen's post. He has a big post on Jacob Allen Racing as to why he left. Long story short on that whole ordeal right there, it's basically covering how not necessarily the pressure to race, but the demand to race full time on the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series is very strenuous, and it just weighs on you week in and week out. And as glorious as it may look or anything like that, the force to be there every week. No time to spend with family, friends, no life in a way. Some people see being a World Outlaw Sprint Car Series driver as being easy, fun. Oh, you just get to race for a living. That sounds like the dream. Life is just consumed with this sport, and you even though you may love it, even though it may be fun, it becomes work. It becomes a job. It becomes something you must do instead of something that you want to do, and it's very confusing. I struggle with it all the time. It's very hard. I mean, I still love it. You got to appreciate it. You got to look at what other options there are out there in life. There could be way worse situations. But sometimes if you got you a good 40-hour work week and you got weekends off and you're home every night seeing people you love, that's honestly, I think even with this, I could say it, but Jacob Allen could say it right now. You might have a better life, technically, than a World Outlaw Sprint Car Series driver. So you should appreciate what you got. I mean, some people, even in all these areas, even what I got, some people say what I'm doing is just that you're living the dream. It is definitely not. But there are positives and negatives to both sides, so you just, at the end of the day, never going to get everything that you want, and you have to be okay with not getting everything that you want. I was talking to some drivers in PA, and they were like, what should I do national? If I could go national, should I? I was like, here's the deal, buddy. You don't have a life. You go out on there, you better love racing. You're gonna have a month and a half, maybe, depending on how schedules, everybody's trying to race their ass off nowadays. Depending on schedules, you may have a month and a half. Now, could we get to a business model where that changes in the racing industry? Well, I've been hearing there's some pretty big organizations out there for sale right now. And if you could get somebody like a Feld Entertainment or somebody who's a big investor to put on a series that is 30 to 35 races, 40 possibly, and pay 3 to 4 times as much, or at least 2 times as much as the current 80-ish race schedule, then you could potentially do that. But everybody, it seems like, is wanting more. One of the big differences between the sprint car world and the late model world, the reason it's so open in the late model world for drivers is because the national series only run about 40-ish times a year. So there'll be 2 or 3 weeks of a break in the World Outlaw late model series schedule and in the Lucas Oil late model series schedule. And on those off weekends for Lucas, there'll be races for World Outlaws. And on those races for World Outlaw weekends, that they're off, there'll be Lucas races. And this is how the drivers do both. They both don't have a full race schedule. And then you sprinkle in the XRs and the midweek schedules, and a late model driver will race 120 times in 1 year. Just a little bit of a difference in that scenario where you start trying to add on races with like high limit, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. It's a little bit different of a situation when you're talking about, the sprint car guys should be able to run wherever they want. The schedule structure is just different between the two series to even be allowing to have that. And a World Outlaw late model driver could technically only run 40 times a year and make an okay living racing. But if you want more money, if you want it, you got to go and get it, and you got to race as much as you can. And that's overall because the purses are just too low, and the structure of the business is not allowing that to happen. But I did have a very interesting conversation with a guy who was talking about ways that could be fixed, and he was referencing Messi. Messi is a soccer player that the MLS, Major League Soccer of America, brought in for $50 million, and he is the star that they have paid to get the attention to soccer in America to grow the sport. That makes me think about this situation. They're using a star to build up soccer so that it can rise in popularity in America, and then anyone who's thinking about over time, that would bring more attention, more fans, more money to then be able to pay the players more. And I'm starting to somewhat think that that's what this high limit scenario is about. The sprint car racing industry is doing a very similar thing with Kyle Larson. And it has worked. I remember seeing a comment yesterday of NASCAR fan. I started watching dirt. I started enjoying dirt. I was like so blown away at the talent and the racing and the action. And now they're not really even a NASCAR fan anymore. They are a dirt fan. So that does work. That strategy that they're using with Messi in, MLS, magical debut. This was at Miami the other day. They're paying $600 to go watch this guy. ESPN making it a big deal. National news outlets are talking about soccer now in America. This is the results from Grandview last night, ladies and gentlemen. Rico Abreu gets first sprint car victory, snaps Kyle Larson's 3-race win streak. This is on NBC Sports. And if you go and search High Limit Sprint Car Series, you get an explanation for what it is. And then when you scroll down, it's almost like actual mainstream attention. Very similar to the Messi effect. And it's all because of Kyle Larson. Let's not doubt that. I mean, the entire broadcast on Flow was about Kyle Larson. But the strategy that they're doing, similar to the Major League Soccer division in America with Messi, with Kyle Larson here in the sprint car world, you have to say it's working. If I was to search World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, we're not getting anything similar. It's all worldofoutlaws.com coverage. You got Syracuse.com talking about how Weed Sport's happening this weekend, and Weed Sport Auburn Citizen. And then the Morning Call talking about Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet set to bring High Limit Sprint Car Series to Grandview. Let's just see World of Outlaws, Williams Grove, Rico Abreu. I got to literally come up here and put 2023 maybe to get something about it. Dirt Track Digest. We literally get the Rico Abreu win at High Limit Sprint Car Series. Dirt Weekly Pro has the Williams Grove win. This is a very interesting situation where I'm looking at this Messi thing, and they're bringing over the GOAT of soccer to the Major League Soccer division in America to increase the popularity and the attention for MLS to potentially grow the sport overall and get other people paid, even though he's paid 50 times as much. And I think if you dabbled into all the backdoor deals that are going on here, that Kyle Larson's making a pretty penny by doing this situation, either through sponsors or whatever. Messi has Adidas and all these other things and ownership. I think you have a very similar situation here with this High Limit Sprint Car Series, no matter how many issues they may have or how they're making it the Kyle Larson show. Their strategy is paying off overall. Now, I've been hearing some things, how Brad Sweet and High Limit's going to do some extreme things, in my opinion, next year. Not sure if that's going to work. But I said last year at the Knoxville Nationals, ladies and gentlemen, I said it, and I wasn't kidding. World of Outlaws needed to be nice with Brad Sweet. They needed to be nice to make sure that they did not get trampled on, did not get taken out. I don't think they played nice. They played hardball for the brand, for their division. But your brand is being overshadowed right now by High Limit. This is a situation where things are going to change, and there's a strategy playing out right now in sprint car racing that has some legs in it in other forms of motorsports and even sports in general with Messi. And when I say other forms of motorsports, I'm not just talking about dirt track racing. Look what they're doing with IndyCar. They're bringing Kyle over there to do the same thing, to get some eyes, to get some attention, to get some notoriety and credibility. And I think that is slowly happening here with the sprint car series and what they are doing there. I'm still going to be out there talking about how badass these other drivers are. You're going to have a Kyle Larson parade most of the time. Kyle and Rico are going to dominate this thing. Sprinkle Marks Macri in there. The hitters of the industry are over there in the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series division. The Gravel, the Macedo, Shoehart, Sweet, Shots, Sheldon. You throw in some of these guys and it makes their job, or Gio, Selzy, sorry, didn't mean to leave you out. You throw these guys into this field and it's not just such a Larson show. He's got a bigger issue. So that is the one negative. But that is also the case because the Outlaws did not play nice. And maybe karma is going to come around and get you. I'm not going to speak on what I'm hearing, but it will be very impactful if it does come true. And I think that would be a reflection of things that happened over the last year's time. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Like the video, comment below. What do you think? It does seem like this is kind of the relevant situation and game that's being played in the sprint car racing industry, and Flo has definitely bit the bullet. And maybe the bullet is pointed the other direction instead of at us. We'll see what happens overall. Do believe we need to start building some sprint car stars. It would be a big deal. What do you think about this Jacob Allen situation? And some saying he's the wrench instead of helmet bag. And how hard is this actual scenario? I know how hard it is for me. I know I'm not on their level there, or even some of the things they got, like a damn hotel room and a damn nice bus or something to be in, sounds way better than me. But I still understand and respect and are aware of how hard it is to even be one of those guys. And I think that not only should people think about, oh, well, yeah, that sucks, but think about how good you got it with your 9 to 5. There is some real benefits to just going 9 to 5, having a time clock, going home, being with people, being normal in a way. It's extreme life. It has some extreme highs and extreme fun, but it also can be extremely hard. But anyways, as always, be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time. But this is how we ride. This is how we do.